Welcome to the Stray Pointers podcast, where seemingly ordinary people join us for extraordinary discussions. You're listening to Season 1, Episode 18 of the Stray Pointers podcast. This episode of the Stray Pointers podcast was recorded on December 26th, 2023. I'm your host, Jim Lawless. For more information about the podcast, including links to sites referenced in this show, please visit straypointers.com. Hi, joining us again is Mr. Rick Lundeen to discuss the new Doctor Who Christmas special, The Church on Ruby Road. Rick, welcome back.
Hi, thanks, Jim. I kind of want to see the other one now.
Yeah, the listeners aren't going to hear what I've edited out. So
it's for the best because it's Christmas.
Yeah, I'm going in a true Who tradition. I'm going to go back and change things that happened
There you
already.
go.
So
there you go.
So my thoughts. I'm not a huge Whovian. I've been a fan for a long time, but this was a nice enough episode. It didn't really grab me. It was kind of a there was an homage to Gremlins a bit, and it served to introduce some characters. Now there were a couple that I'd like to talk to you. A couple of characters I'd like to talk to you about as we get into the fray here. But I'd like to get your take first on what did you think of the episode?
Well, when it comes to Doctor Who, there's you got your regular season, but then you've got the Christmas specials, which historically are usually a little bit lighter, more festive, a little bit sillier on some levels, and this one certainly fit the bill on being sillier and lighter than a lot of episodes.
Sure.
I thought it was pretty good CGI for the goblins and all that stuff, and there was some goofy stuff in there. The catching of the baby from 200 feet, a little bit sketchy, but
but he had those gloves that could defy gravity, so wasn't he safe?
Yeah. Sure. I mean, quite often, you lose during the Russell T Davies era. You lose some logic here and there. You lose certain things, but all in all, I thought for a Christmas special, I thought it was fine. I mean, I think part of the mission was establishing Ncuti Gatwa as the new Doctor, which I think they did pretty well. I probably got more Doctor vibes from him in this episode than I did the vast majority of the entire Jodie Whittaker era with her, as far as like being the Doctor. And
we were talking last time too about are we going to be constantly thinking that there's a David Tennant Doctor running around? And I'll tell you, I wasn't during this episode.
Yeah, same here. And that's to the specials credit that, I didn't at no point, even though it's present day Earth and, Tennant's probably like 50 miles over, it wasn't actually, for that matter, it wasn't even an Earth shaking threat, just a very localized threat. But yeah, Tennant never even occurred to me, which is good. And overall, I thought that, them breaking into song on the runway, as far as like the more incredulous elements of Doctor Who, well, this wasn't a musical episode, so to see them start breaking into song was on the edge. And I guess maybe one issue I really had with this special was Ruby, played by
Millie Gibson.
Yeah, thank you, Millie Gibson. She did okay, although I don't like it when you've got a brand new companion who takes so much in her stride. I mean, on the roof, she's annoyed because the goblins shushed her. I mean, it's like I like there to be realistic reactions and consequences. And I don't think that, I mean, I guess you could wave it away as, oh, it's a fun little Christmas special, but they better clean that up right now, because if they start having her be very nonchalant about every threat, that's going to bug the crap out of me.
Hmm.
So, but that was like, that might have been my biggest gripe with the special, if that. So,
I thought it was interesting. This probably was lost on the American audiences, but they had UK television presenter Davina McCall as herself, and she apparently got, offed by these goblins. I should probably put a spoiler at the beginning of this, shouldn't I?
you know what? Anybody who knows what we do by now, I mean, they should know. Well, yeah, well, this is whenever they do any kind of stunt casting like that,
Hmm.
it kind of really irritates the British people. I mean, off and on, especially if it's like a useless addition. Although, I mean, I don't really care one way or the other, because I don't know the person. And if that's the kind of thing she does over there, do interviews like that, whatever, I don't care. I mean, that's fine. If you're going to interview this person, I mean, well, okay, get somebody who actually would interview that person, and I didn't have a problem with that either. But yeah, evidently that's stunt casting. But if it works, it works. I don't know.
So let's talk about Mrs. Flood.
Yeah, I'm not even sure what to think about that, because when you get into this, when you get into this like silly mode and all that stuff, was she just looking at the camera and winking and talking about the TARDIS just because it's a Christmas special? And I mean, nothing matters. Or is she someone of note? I don't know.
She has a water-based name like River Song and Amy Pond.
No, that's true. That's true. Although, I mean, although she can't be either one.
And if he really wanted to push it, I had seen on a fan site that what causes a flood but the rain, and what is an anagram of the rain but the Ronnie.
Um, well, yeah, well, people have been wondering when the Ronnie uh, was going to come back, because every time there's any mystery woman in the past several decades, anybody someone might not know who it is, I mean, it's the Ronnie. It's every time. It's always got to be the Ronnie. So yeah, I don't know. It could be the Master. Who knows? Although that would be something. That would really be interesting casting if they went with this very old woman for the Master. I mean, you had Missy, but
Mm-hmm.
usually there was an air of threat about them. So evidently, this actress is well known over there.
Yeah, Anita Dobson.
Okay, and I again, as usual, I never heard of her, but I think it would be interesting if, for her sake as an actor, to if she was indeed the Master, I mean, that would be interesting to see her turn to
Mm-hmm.
evil. I mean,
Well, we had a very old master at one time that
briefly.
yeah, very briefly. So maybe it would be another metamorphosis like that. But I believe that Anita Dobson, here's another little interesting tidbit I found. She had actually appeared on, I believe, more than one episode of Red Dwarf, if you've ever seen that show.
Oh, I know of it. I've never watched it, but I know of it. So
Okay.
okay, well, that makes sense. So
So I half wondered if I would never have spotted her. I had to, read this after the fact. I certainly didn't recognize her. I liked the Red Dwarf show, but I didn't recognize her. I missed this until someone pointed it out online, that the new doctor said when he was explaining the gloves, he said all the mass and density and mavity exists in the glove. So they're
yeah, I
continuing
caught that.
they're continuing with that shtick. I completely missed it. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
I caught that. Well, it's so casual the way he delivers it that,
Mhm.
yeah, I'm sure they're gonna, which I find funny actually, that something they did, before they can run that joke as long as they want to. I got
They're
no
going
problem.
to. They're
Yeah,
going to.
yeah, I got
Um,
no problem with that.
do you think there's any significance to Ruby's parents?
Um, no, and I'm hoping that there's no significance to Ruby. I mean, I'm hoping that it's just like the only reason she's the least bit special is the fact that the goblins you know uh, attach themselves to the coincidence and what they do. I don't want her to be once again the most important person in the universe, or the impossible girl, or a meta crisis, or a god, or any. I just just give me a regular person, and be that what it may. I you know I don't want there to be this unbelievable significance about, because as it is, he's already borrowing a little bit from past stuff. And if he's going with a new direction, and I think he is going to be going with a new direction, because he's even stated that they're going to be putting more fantasy stuff into the mix along with the sci-fi, and we've seen good evidence of that here with the goblins. I mean, very very fantasy driven, and that's fine. I mean, because sometimes you gotta go in a new direction, and that's fine. But try to don't make every person he meets to be like the be all end all. Don't turn somebody into a god at the end of the season, Russell. He kept doing that his first run.
Hmm.
He kept turning people into demigods and semi-gods and full-on gods and metacrisis gods at the end of the season. His Deus Ex Machina is renowned for this crap. So I hope he doesn't do that this time. Or conversely, I hope it's more complicated than a game of catch.
Very good.
So
Okay, so I assume you've seen the trailers for the new season.
I wish they had a little bit more in that trailer. It was pretty short, but yeah, I think Shudigawa did a good job. I look forward to seeing him, in play with some of the more. I want to see them get, we see hints of Jonathan Groff in there, and we know there's some guest stars coming up, an all musical episode coming up.
I have
Uh,
wondered, do you suppose that's the one where they're at Abbey Road Studios with the Beatles?
no, actually, I, I, that would make sense, but I don't think so. Only because I mean it's possible. I don't know, because he's going to be renowned for Shudigawa is going to be renowned for like doing outfit changes for most of these episodes, because for the 60s one he has got this whole pinstripe big fro type thing going on, and for that the one with Jonathan Groff, he's got his whole whatever that era is uh, clothing going on, so he's going to be doing a lot of that. So I don't even know. I think that'd be interesting if the Beatles episode was indeed the all musical episode, and I guess that would fit, but I
That's
don't
about the
know.
only way you're going to get me to watch a musical episode. So if I
Well, you know
watch that
what?
series, that's the one I'll skip.
Well, seriously, for me anyway, I mean, the musical episode gimmick has been done many times, many places, but as long as I like the songs, as long as the songs are good and catchy, and there's a reason for those songs, and with Doctor Who, anything's possible. But as long as I like the songs, as long as it's a good song product along with a good story, I'm good. But there have been some things where it's like the songs were just, I mean, I like the Buffy musical episode. I thought that was well done. I even liked the musical episode they did in It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, which
Yes.
I really enjoyed that. Um, I didn't like the musical episode in The Flash. I Because I can't even remember any of it. I didn't like the musical episode in that animated Batman Brave and the Bold. I thought those were kind of crappy
I
songs.
I didn't know either of those happened, and I could have gone through the rest of my life not knowing that. So
And you know
the
what? You never have to check in on them. But
I I dropped out of the new Star Trek when they had the episode with the people from the lower decks up here,
oh,
and so I
yeah.
just missed the musical there. Shucks. So
Yeah, I didn't, I had high hopes for that Strange New Worlds, but I though still the producers they had a couple of good ideas in the first season, but I'm kind of like, so no.
yeah. So any further thoughts on the church on Ruby Road? Here's one other thing I wanted to chat about.
Um, Not much on that. I mean, good start. It's a shame we have to wait till May for the next season, but
I have heard that they've started filming series two. So it sounds
uh,
like
yeah.
that's the rumor anyway.
Yeah, no, they are. They're well into it now, and I mean it's smart because they're doing 8 episodes for this season. There's still controversy on whether it's season 14 or season one because But anyway, they did that, and they're doing the next 8 episodes for season two, whatever, and then that allows them to get a good long bit of time off, and then they'll probably film seasons 3 and 4 the same way back to back.
Gotcha.
I mean, if you're only doing 8 episodes a season, I mean, back when this thing, the reboot started in 2005, they were doing 13 episodes and a Christmas special, and that took like 9 months to film, and but now they're doing basically almost half what they used to. So yeah, so I think that's fine. They'll be well ahead, and hopefully we won't have to wait such huge distances anymore between Doctor Who.
Certainly. Well, I had just wanted to mention I had seen online that Richard Franklin, Unit's Captain Mike Yates during the John Pertwee tenure on Doctor Who, he
Yeah,
passed away in his sleep on Christmas morning. And I just he was
yeah.
a good enough supporting character. I like seeing him on there. As I recall, he was kind of a gung-ho, hot-headed soldier that when they needed that character, he he was the guy to do it.
Yeah, he was a pretty good dashing hero type and part of the unit family. And yeah, with the Brigadier, him, Benton, and the companion of the year, yeah, they had a pretty good and the master. They had a pretty good unit family vibe going on for quite some time. And yeah, and Franklin went on to do a few audios in the later years with Tom Baker,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, he. And unfortunately, we're gonna be seeing many more of these passings as we go by. And he was 87, and I think we still got John Levine, Sergeant Benton,
Okay.
hanging around. So, but yeah, so rest in peace, Richard Franklin.
Okay. Rick, thanks for joining me for my final episode this season.
Thank you, Jim.
It was fun doing the 60th anniversary Doctor Who coverage. We'll have to look at doing something in the new year.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
All right. Take care.
You too.
I'd like to thank Rick for joining us, and I'd like to thank you all for listening. Let's do this again next year. Take care.